Oh hi, I'm Jen and welcome to Tasty Memories. So it's fall again, it's my favorite season, and usually around this time of year I love to have really comforting dishes, and one of my favorite ingredients are apples. But I'm not going to show you how to cook them in a dessert, but on this savory dish of creamy cheddar grits, which serve as a bed for some bacon and apple stuffed pork chop wrapped in bacon. Pork on pork action. It's a pork orgy, yeah! That doesn't sound so good, actually. Tasty memories, yeah! To celebrate fall's arrival, Leo and I left the city and headed up to Wright's farm, where we picked apples in their beautiful orchard. And what's awesome is I was able to bring my dog Oreo and my badass of a mother climbing a tree. She really defies her age. I'm picking. I'm not gonna say her age, but she's one tough lady. I'm 62 years old. Look at this. So Wright's farm was just a beautiful place to spend time with my family and pick these beautiful apples like the romes you see on the right, which I use in my pork and apple afternoon delight. So the first step, you're gonna butterfly your pork. Here I'm using pork shoulder chops, but you might want to be smarter than me and use thicker chops. But just cut them in half a little bit and pound it flat so that you'll have enough room to stuff. Now don't worry about the holes because our bacon's gonna secure that baby in place. Next, you want to season them with salt, pepper, and smoked paprika, and a little bit of minced garlic. Now these are going to marinate. I use the Ziploc bag and just throw in a little apple cider vinegar and let this in the counter for like 20 minutes. Meanwhile, you're going to cook your stuffing. So I used a large apple, so I really used about half of it. You just want to chop that up real small, and some shallots as well. Then in a pan, just brown up some bacon. Oh, you want to see a close-up? You're welcome. Now once the bacon's brown, just add in some shallots and let that sweat for about a minute or two before you add your apple. Now at this point, your kitchen should smell freaking awesome. That's when you want to add some black pepper and just let that cook for another 2 to 3 minutes so the apples can soften. Then you're going to add breadcrumbs. I just made some with whole wheat bread, cubed it up, put it in the oven, smashed it up in the bag, and sprinkled it on. Now it's going to soak up all that beautiful bacon fat and get real yummy. And just mix everything up well, and then you're going to add about half a cup of chicken broth. You don't want it to be too wet because it'll just slip out of the pork, but you want it moist enough. And just let that cook for another minute or two, and you can leave it to the side to cool. Now on to the grits. In a pot, you're going to saute some shallots and add 3½ cups of chicken broth. You're going to let that come to a boil. And for this, I'm using coarse ground cornmeal because I like the texture. You could use quick cook if you want. Now the key to this is to incorporate just a little at a time and whisk it in. That way it has time to soak up the liquid and get nice and creamy. Cooking times will differ depending on the type of cornmeal you're using, so the coarser, the more time it's going to take to get tender. But the key is to just keep stirring and be patient. It'll be wonderful. Now if you don't stir, it'll fart. Like that. But it's all good, just keep stirring. Now once your grits have plumped up like this, that's when you want to add a cup of whole milk and just whisk that in. You could use heavy cream if you want, but it's all good. Then a handful of grated sharp cheddar. Now, once your grits are completely tender and no longer gritty, that's when you want to add just about a tablespoon of butter. And don't you just want to jump in there right now? Now back to our pork. You just want to lightly pat it dry before you fill it with about 1½ tablespoons of stuffing, depending on the size of your pork. You just want to make sure it's flattened out just a bit so it's easier for you to fold over. You just want to lay out your bacon and place the pork on it. Now this step is very important. You want to wrap it like it's the most beautiful thing you will ever cradle in your life. I'm serious, it tastes way better if you do. Then in a pan on high heat, you're going to sear the pork on both sides just so it has a chance to crisp up before you place them in the oven to cook all the way. Then just finish them off in the oven on 425 for about 10 to 12 minutes until you get this. Are you ready for this? Oh, yeah. Now, last but not least, for the sauce, we're going to use apple butter. I picked this up at Wright's Farm. It's so good. And if you don't have apple butter, you can use applesauce, or you can make your own apple butter. Now just add about 3 tablespoons of that and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And you're going to let that reduce and get thick and dark. Then you're going to plate the creamy grits with just a smear of the sauce and then place your pork right on top. That is damn delicious. The smoky bacon with the sourness from the apple cider vinegar and the sweetness from the apple butter sauce, all with those cheesy, creamy grits. It's so good. I hope you guys give this a try, and I think I'm gonna go and continue this pork orgy. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Now, as a bonus, I want you guys to head over to my good friend's channel, Mike Wilson, aka Culminity, on his show The Big Bang Query, where he discusses why apples turn brown. Because apples, I don't know, you know, they don't want to be racist. Anyway, go check him out. He'll tell you exactly why, and tell him that Tasty Memory sent you. Bye! Oh yeah, I burned my arm. And her fat gets everywhere. Oh.